For some families, it just seems as though baseball is in their blood. That was the case for the Bichettes. Dante was a 14-year Major League player. He also was a 4-time All-Star, while his son Dante Jr. was a first-round pick for the New York Yankees in 2011. And brother Bo, while still in high school, not too far behind, trying to follow in both brother and father's footsteps. While Dante Sr. played for 5 different teams throughout his Major League career, it was right here in Colorado where he met some of his closest friends and made some of his fondest memories. It was also the place where he was able to take his little man, Dante Jr., to see the big show at an early age.
It was a blast. I mean, he didn't really understand what he was going through because he grew up in it, in the big leagues. I'm not sure what his memories are, but it was good having him around. It was good to get away from baseball and spend time with my boy, but it wasn't all about baseball at the early ages.
Have to imagine growing up had to be pretty cool, going to different ballparks with your father. What was that whole experience like for you?
There's nothing better, being around it and just learning from the guys who do it the best.
When did you look at him and say, wow, this kid really has a future?
I remember going out and hitting him a couple ground balls when he was about 7 years old. And I came back in and asked my wife, do I put him in baseball, or do I let him try to live up to that pressure of his dad or anything like that? And she asked me, what else are you going to teach him? And I said, that's a good point, because I don't know anything else. So, around 7 or 8 years old, I knew he'd have, it was obvious the hand-eye and the quick bat was there. I knew he'd have a chance to play professionally.
How much do you look to your father for some guidance as you kind of navigate your way through the baseball world?
I always said that the best way to learn about the game is to be a part of it. And growing up, I was always part of it with my pops. And, even now, he gets guys around that just know the game, and the knowledge that he brings himself is incredible.
Is there any rivalry between the two of you as far as who's going to have the better baseball career?
Oh, no, because if my dad could have it anyway, I'm sure he'd want me to be the one and surpass everything that he did, but I mean, that's only because of what he's been able to tell me. And if I do make it to that point, it'll definitely be a family effort.
Yankees as an organizational whole are getting to know you and have had a chance to get to know you, but there's one guy that's been there for a while that knows you pretty well, and Joe Girardi. What's your relationship like with him?
I call him Uncle Joe. Him and my dad were playing together, so they got to know each other on the Rockies, and then his wife and my mom were really close, and when I was a baby, they used to take care of me.
Tell me a little bit about your relationship with Joe Girardi.
The greatest year I ever had, Joe was my locker mate right there, and you could tell he was going to be a manager way back then. It was a no-brainer. He was the best leader that I've ever met.
So, Joe, you spent some time with Dante Bichette in Colorado. What were your experiences like with him?
Really enjoyed my time with Dante, and it was a man that really studied the game. Just fun to be around.
What do you think it is, aside from being fun, about you guys that your families kind of bonded together?
I think it's our expectations in life and what we want out of life, what we want for our children. I remember when Dante had little Dante Jr., him being a little baby and being around the ballpark, and Kim and I hadn't had kids yet, and we knew that eventually we wanted to have them, and that was a joy for us too.
You mentioned Dante Jr. Interestingly enough, the Yankees selected him, and he's now a part of this organization. What was that day like?
Really exciting. I knew he was going to get drafted, and I thought, man, that'd be kind of neat if he got drafted by the Yankees. And let me go back a little bit. We're with the Rockies, and we're playing in Chicago, and we have our home in Chicago because I played with the Cubs. So Dante, Mariana, and little Dante come out and stay. Little Dante's having a hard time sleeping. It's the middle of the night, and he's keeping people up. So I said, come on, Mariana, let's jump in the truck. We put the car seat in. Took him for a ride. He fell asleep in the car. Pulled into the garage, and Mariana slept in the car the rest of the night with him. But I'm thinking, God, that little boy that I used to drive around to get him to sleep because he was keeping us all up is now playing for us, and it makes me realize how fast time goes, but how the sport, it's a connection of generations. We think so much of their family. I mean, my son is Dante.
So named after him?
Yes. So it's been a thrill, and it's been fun watching him.
So do you and Joe still keep in touch quite a bit?
He's the one guy I still call, and I know being a manager for the Yankees ain't no easy job, so I try to call him and let him know he's doing a good job now and then. And
what was his reaction when he found out you're getting back into it?
I called him, and I asked, he was the only guy that I called and said, what do you think? Should I get back into this? And he didn't get back to me in time. But after I accepted the job, he did call me back and said, so you want to get into this grinding it out every day thing here, And it was like, too late now, Joe. You should have called me a couple days ago.
He said, I took the hitting job with the Colorado Rockies. I said, you really dove in because you're going to be there from 7 in the morning till 7 at night every day, and it's a full-time job. I think about the hours that Kevin Long spends in the cage and with his hitters. He really dove back into it.
What was your immediate reaction when your dad came to you and said, I'm getting back into baseball?
Finally. I mean, he'd been saying he wanted to for a while, and when the Rockies gave him that opportunity, it was just too good to pass up, honestly. Like, you know, an opportunity to get right back in the big leagues, not just any baseball team. So, you know, it's pretty cool.
What will make him a good hitting coach?
I think Dante has the ability to relate to people. Dante can be funny in a tough moment. Dante really knows hitting and love to study it. I think he'll be able to take different things from each person he learns so much from and share it with his players.
I want to get the swag back for the Colorado Rockies and get them on a winning ways. That's where I played my good years, and it'd be nice to see them, you know, succeed and get that feeling back that we had back in the day and be a contender again.
The Yankees are going to play the Rockies, so I have to ask you, who are you going to be rooting for?
Oh, the Yankees, definitely. I mean, I'll be rooting for the Rocky hitters to do well, you know, for my dad, but I'm sure they will. But I got to be a Yankee fan.
Hoping the bats go a little cold, though, when you guys
Against
play.
us, absolutely. And I hope I don't see that his father had what we call the Chucky Ducky when he hit a home run. When he hit a home run, he'd take the swing and go like this. I don't want to see that from any Rockies against us.